Hello, car lovers, driving the 2023 Jeep Compass Trailhawk Elite 4x4. God, manufacturers have got to do something about that. It's too much. First, an overview.
The 2023 Jeep Compass is a compact crossover. It comes in 7 trims. The options are staggered in a somewhat logical fashion, though stop and go driving aids come standard on the highest trim. As a side note, driving aids are standard on the base Corolla. We get this almost all-equipped Trailhawk Elite, which as is stickers for $49,000. It is past mid-November, and on the Jeep website there are rebates. The engine is a 2-liter turbo with 200 horsepower and 221 pounds of torque and an 8-speed automatic transmission. This is standard fare. The fuel economy is 9.9 liters in the city and 7.4 liters on the highway. That is an above average performance. Standard are reasonable 17-inch wheels. When you get the altitude trim, you get 18-inch wheels, which are very reasonable for an upper trim model, and you also get the Uconnect infotainment with a 10-inch screen and navigation. Most of its competitors get 19-inch wheels with the upper trims, which are super pricey to replace. The Jeep design language is the principal draw of Compass. Its looks stand out in a crowded field.
First, I had walking up to this vehicle, I thought it looked small. When I got inside, I felt it was small. It made me go look online. Is this a compact or a subcompact? It is a compact. I would have to say it's battling it out with Mazda 6.5 in terms of the smallest interior usable space. Having that said, let's talk about this exterior styling. First of all, the Jeep brand is very attractive to many people. That's number one. Number two, the exterior styling, I must say, is certainly smacks of Jeep. It's original. It certainly looks more original and interesting than the run-of-the-mill conservative exterior styling. And not everyone wants that exterior conservative styling in a compact crossover. So on the inside now, you get full of little Easter eggs like this Jeep going up the window. Very nice, very nice. You get a quiet interior, I must say, relatively quiet interior. And you do get probably the best steering wheel in the category. Very soft leather, a nice thick grips at 10 and 2. Just a lovely steering wheel. Relatively easy to use controls for the driving aids, cruise control, etc. You have a beautiful infotainment display. This is beautiful. Really crisp graphics, nice and clear. Relatively quick reaction. Relatively easy to use. I don't say that often about many infotainments. I got into it and I started navigating it right away. Some of the buttons are small, but I mean, relative to the competition, pretty darn good. When you touch navigation, you get a full navigation screen. You'd be surprised how many competitors don't do that. It's half a screen. So pretty good on that level. You get buttoned climate control, so that way if your screen gives out, you still have access to your climate control, though when you are in park, it is awkward to access. Reminds me of previous Mazda products. That was an ergonomic flaw. The room in front, well, it's counted. There is no sunroof, so there is no natural light coming in, making it a very dark experience on this cloudy day. Sitting in back, it is very dark. There's room for me, and that's it. Me sitting behind myself. Not the most roomiest experience back there. We have here a limited outward visibility. Usually the front glass is bigger than this. Side visibility, okay. Rear 3/4, pretty bad, I'd say. And rear view, okay. So that's for the visibility. I have here relatively comfortable seats. They are done a little bit concave a la Toyota, and I find that personally uncomfortable, but some people like that. But nevertheless, the leather quality is of decent quality, and the seat comfort, at least for the less than an hour run, very good. There is no premium sound here in the model we're driving. No sunroof once again. No heads-up display, which a lot of its competitors are having. Though it must be said, at this price, $49,000, it is less expensive than, let's say, for example, a CR-V. But my goodness, I think that CR-V is in a whole other world. So you get what you pay for in that sense. Maybe not quite. Engine transmission. Well, it is a little bit noisy and feels unrefined, but the performance is there. And I would say the first gear, it's a short first gear, making it easy to get off. This is a well-geared transmission, I'd say. The gears are logically spaced. So you notice that when you're driving, especially in the city. It is slow to downshift though. This is the vehicle. I mean, you do get off-road capability. So this is your value added, which others don't always have, which would explain the price. You get a superior exterior styling, a recognizable exterior styling, which I don't think others necessarily get. You get a certain ergonomic coherence. You get a driver's position that is above average because of the steering wheel, because of the logically laid out interior. So on the beginning, you're kind of like whining about the space, but as you drive it, it kind of makes more sense. I certainly, there has been problems with Jeep in terms of long-term reliability, so for me it is recommendable on the lease. On the purchase, I'm not so sure. And those are my thoughts on this very good, like I'm putting up a lot of shots of the inside and the exterior, because that's kind of part of the selling point, I think, with Jeep. The tires are reasonably sized, which means on the Montreal Trail, which, by the way, this suspension tire combination is handling very well, you may not get the tire busted, unlike some of the low-profiled competitors, which is very good. Ross makes the remark that there's lacking a hybrid option. I have to agree with him, especially in Quebec. We know who we live with. We know where we live. So we know two things. The roads are not going to get more maintained because the province doesn't have the money. And we know that there won't be additional roads, which means even when you're driving on the highway, I mean, I'm driving all the way to Saint-Jérôme Beach, and sometimes almost up to Saint-Sauveur, there's traffic. So talk about being lost in the woods with a deficient infrastructure, my God. So the point is, you're going to be doing a much more stop and go even on the highway, which that hybrid system really pays dividends in terms of fuel economy, especially when you match that with the way too expensive gas prices. So lacking a hybrid option. A good point by Ross. And those are my thoughts on the Jeep Compass. By the way, if you like this video, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. And if you really like it, well then of course, you should subscribe. And that is it.